What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Washing. And today I met some awesome people at the huge convention, actually just this past weekend. And this is the first time I ever met them in person. And so we're going to talk about the things that go
What up,
at
guys?
pressure.
Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Washing. And today I met some awesome people at the huge convention.
All right, can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, good. And so we'll get started here. And so these were some. So we're going to talk about money, marketing, and people and systems. The four things that really grow a business. Them are probably the four foundations of growing a business. So first thing off, we're going to talk about money. So whoever's going to be the one talking about money, which is Megan. Which tell me a little bit about yourself and. We'll talk a little bit about money here then.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Likes. I'm a CPA based out of Northern California. I educate and empower small business owners to know their numbers so that they can live more financially rewarding lives. And I do this because my husband and I own a window cleaning and gutter cleaning company. And we learned pretty early on in our business that knowing our numbers was kind of the key to success. That was like the secret sauce to turning it from a job into a pretty lucrative business. And I also, because I'm a CPA, I also have a full service accounting company called, bummer, they missed the buckets. Those buckets went fast.
Yep.
I also own a full service accounting firm called Likes Accounting Company. And I just basically love talking about money and numbers and systems, and particularly with my Fight Club girls and with new friends that we meet at cool conventions like the Huge. I mean, we're really still riding the high of this awesome week this week. And we gave away a lot of cool window washing buckets. And my husband would kill me if I just said window cleaning buckets, excuse me, and stickers.
Awesome. So why is it important to know where our dollars are going?
Because we have to give our money a job. Because when we give our money a job, we get more money. We keep more money. And I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate it. Accounting doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't take special degrees. It doesn't take college education. Really, it's as simple as knowing how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, and where is it going. I really think that is like the basic fundamentals to understanding the numbers of business, the important numbers of business. And when people ask me like, well, where do you start or how do you do that? I say, just choose one. Any number, choose one number and work on it. And then when you feel like you like that number, move to the next one.
Awesome. And, a lot of times I get asked this a lot. Should I hire a CPA? And I always say, well, yeah, that's the dumbest thing if you don't do that. But what are some things that you want to look at when you're hiring a CPA or to make sure that you're not going to hire the wrong CPA?
Yeah, I mean, really great question. I believe that every business owner should absolutely have a CPA, a good tax advisor who's in their corner. Their job is to keep you out of jail, all right? And to make sure that you don't pay any more money to the government than you need to. And yeah, you're going to spend a little bit, but I guarantee you're going to save a lot more because you don't know what you don't know. And we're getting like 5,000 pages of tax code changes a year as paid professionals. There's no way you can stay on top of that. And there's so many amazing incentives for small business owners if you know what you're doing. So hire a good CPA. That is not your job. That's their job, right? And pay them to keep you out of trouble and to save you some tax dollars. When you're looking at hiring a CPA, I think referrals from your network are a great starting point. Like having people who have had success working with them in the past, who have stayed out of jail, right? Who have maybe made it through an audit, right? Who hopefully aren't bragging about the fact that they have like separate sets of books or they're not paying taxes. Like those aren't the guys you want to take a referral from. The guys you want to take a referral from are the guys who are saying like, I'm making really good money. I have a good relationship with my CPA. They really know their stuff. I get everything done on time. They answer my calls. They answer my emails. And I kind of like them. I think that that's the best way to hire a CPA. You should like them, and you should be able to talk to them, and they should care about your business. And Ellen Rohr, who was at the Huge convention, she has like a checklist. I would go run and get it, but that would be kind of embarrassing, awkward. It's 9 questions, and it's in her book, How Much Should I Charge? 9 questions that you should ask when you're hiring a new CPA.
And so a lot of times I know people start making money and they don't know what to do with it. So can you tell me what the difference is between tax planning and tax fraud?
Oh,
Wow, that's like 3 different major questions that we can talk about for an hour each. Okay, so when you start making money and you don't know what to do with it, I feel like I personally am very biased, but I love the Profit First system. So if you've never read Profit First by Mike McCallowitz, I highly encourage you to check that out. And it's, well, how did he know I was going to say that?
no, he did. Brandon did.
It's amazing for giving your money a job and making it super simple for saving. Especially as entrepreneurs, I feel like we tend not to be good savers. We're really good spenders. And it's a good system for saving. And then the difference between tax planning and tax fraud. Well, tax fraud's what puts you in jail. That's when you lie on your tax return. And you almost always go to jail for underreporting your income. So don't do that. You should always report all of your income. No cash in the pocket, no cash in your wallet, no cash on the side. Everything should get reported to the government. You really want to be reporting your income. They will find out. They have very good systems for finding out. Tax planning is when you actually pay attention to what is my tax liability going to be this year, and what are some things that I can do to change that. So maybe that's buying equipment. Maybe that's playing with depreciation. Maybe that's contributing to retirement. Maybe that's putting in some incentives for your employees. Maybe that's looking at all these new credits and incentives that are coming out for small business owners. Maybe that's leveraging some payroll tax credits. Tax planning is really understanding what is the tax code, what are the rules, what is my business, and how can those play together nicely. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but it's actually very possible.
Yeah, as my CPA always says, tax planning, you do it, in the year of, and tax fraud usually happens the next year trying to overcome what you should have did the year before.
Way better answer. Why didn't you just answer that one? That's exactly right. I will warn you that most CPAs do not do tax planning. So if you're listening to this, most CPAs, they're after the fact, and they like to deal with you after you've made all the decisions and all the mistakes. So tax planning happens the year of. So we do tax planning for 2021 in 2021. You do your tax return in 2022, right?
Now, do you take people all over the country, or do you, because somebody says needs a CPA, and then I guess this is probably something that if you want to try to find someone local or versus, can you hire somebody like that?
I highly recommend hiring somebody in your state. So the laws are different and the credits are different from state to state. So I think it's really nice to have somebody in your state. I happen to run virtual companies, but there's something nice about like knowing where your CPA's office is and being able to go down there and like drop off your stuff and pick up your stuff. Personally, like COVID was really hard for my virtual accounting firm because there's still something nice about like, you've got to pick up envelopes, or if you've got to drop off like 100 pages of tax documents. Like that's just a nice personal relationship, I think, to have close by, and definitely somebody who's a professional in your state. And then as far as, if you're in California, I'm actually full. I've been full for 3 years. So I can't help with your taxes. But I'm always happy to help, if you need vetting questions, or if you need help figuring out, like, is this guy legit or not, or gal?
All right, I said that was one last question, but I gotta plug somebody else here. What's the difference between a bookkeeper and a CPA?
Yeah, so Likes Accounting has become a bookkeeping firm because taxes stink. And there's a difference between a bookkeeper and a CPA. I happen to be a CPA who does bookkeeping, which means I'm more expensive. And why I'm more expensive is because I'll do that tax planning with you as you're doing the transactions, right? I'll set up the books so that your CPA, all they have to do is all the new regulations and all the tax code when it comes tax time. Typically, a bookkeeper, what they do is they're going to help you pay your bills. They're going to help you make your deposits. They're going to help you categorize your transactions. They're going to help you make sure that nobody's stealing cash in your company and nobody's committing fraud within your company. So typically the difference is a CPA usually does tax returns, and a bookkeeper usually helps with like the monthly transactions of operating your business.
Good. All right, let's go on to the next thing, let's go on to the next thing, which is the thing that I love, and talk a little bit about marketing. Marketing is the thing that is my favorite, because I know a lot of people love to go buy shiny new equipment and think that's going to grow their business, and those are usually the first ones out of business. So tell me a little bit about who are you, where are you from, and let's talk marketing.
Absolutely. I think marketing's Megan always jokes, it's like everyone's favorite. It's the sexy topic of the panel. So But my name's Taylor Maroney. I actually co-own a power washing company in South Florida with my husband.
But I didn't think you could make any money down in Florida.
Everyone said that to me this weekend. They were like, your market's so saturated. It's not worth it. Why are you there? I'm like, it's all about how you market in those markets. Like when you break it down that simple, it's knowing those customer avatars and knowing who you're working with and what your clients are actually looking for. So for me, my passion in marketing really lies in allowing business owners to understand the analytics behind marketing. So knowing the numbers that those marketing companies are giving you or you're producing yourself really helps you make better marketing plans and adjustments moving forward. So that way you can strategize and make those decisions, at your quarterly meetings, yearly, annual, things of that sort.
So what are some things about marketing that we need to know about?
Well, I think first one that you just said, hit it nail on the head, is know your market. That's the first one. I mean, I can count on, I probably have to use my hands, fingers, and toes to tell you how many times that someone said to me this weekend, you're in South Florida, how do you even have a pressure washing business? How do you make money? And it solely boils down to knowing your market and knowing your customer avatar. I mean, our customer avatar is an individual who owns a single family home who is making over, $50,000 a year, either single or 100,000 double income, so husband and wife. And we know that they look for their resources on Google, and they also like to look for additional backup resources within customer referrals and customer communication throughout their neighborhood. So we're really big on pushing those markets and making sure that we're putting ourselves in front of our future customers through our past customers and clients, as well as Google advertisement.
I love when you talk about your avatar, because a lot of people don't understand their avatar. A lot of people, they think they're customers at Walmart, and most of the time our customers don't shop at Walmart. They're shopping at Whole Foods, or and the more you can dial in that avatar, the more then we can feed them what they want. Would you agree with that there?
Absolutely. I mean, it's always evolving. So that's the beauty of the avatar, is it doesn't have to stay that way. Like, we're actually in the process of analyzing our avatar right now. That's kind of the data from last year's avatar, but we're in the process of reanalyzing it. And I'm taking a look at the numbers and who we've worked with this past year, since I did it last year around this time. And it's going to change. Your avatar will change. It's based upon the market and the people you work with. But knowing that's really important. Like, I know I'm not going in my area in particular, we don't do very well on Nextdoor. So I'm not going to really push that super hard. It seems, for whatever reason, it's a lot of just, bickering back and forth. So it's no real pushing of business owners and recommendations for our local market for Nextdoor. So I know I won't waste my time there marketing. But I will put dollars into organic SEO, and I will put dollars into making sure that we're getting reviews on Google and reviews on Facebook, and having a good brand across the board, that when clients see our trucks or they see our employees out in the field, they know that's Pure Power Washing, and that's who I can speak to in regards to pressure washing and paper sealing services. So it's kind of all connected. It's not just the customer avatar. It's also, for me, tying that customer avatar into your brand. And then from there, now you have the customer avatar, you have your brand, and you're making sure that your brand is answering the questions that your customer avatar is asking. So they're not asking you just to clean your house. South Florida, for example, they want an environment that's safe for their kids and their family to play on the 4th of July, or throughout the summer to be on their patio and not have slippery mold that then could cause to an accident. So those are the things that you're really selling. You're selling in the marketing, I should say, you're pushing the value that you're bringing, not just, hey, I'm going to come clean your house.
But I thought that's what I needed to tell my customer, that I'm going to get the mold off, and I'm going to use this $25,000 rig, and I'm going to use all these chemicals, and I'm going to do all this. You're telling me that's not what I'm supposed to be saying?
I'm telling you, you can say these things, but speak to the emotion as well. Speak to what they really care about. They don't really care what your PSI is on your pressure washer. I'm sorry. I hate to break all of your hearts right now, but they don't. So it's realistically making sure you're answering the needs of your clients, and it's for them. It's a lot of times it's safety and it's cleanliness, and mold and algae can get into the home if it's on the roof. Like that's been science that's been proven. And if there's children with asthma in the home, it's this is protecting your child. This is making sure your child's living in a safe environment. And those are the ways that you can really connect with your customers, by knowing your avatar, knowing what they need, and answering those needs through your services.
So what's a good percentage to spend on marketing then?
Oh, that's a money question I'm not good at. But as far...
The rule of thumb is 10, right?
Yeah, I would say 10%. Rule of thumb's 10. And I will say too that know where you want to market. So a lot of people will go to a marketing company, and the marketing companies I worked with in the past were very, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional about who we would bring on, because as a business owner, you'll go to a marketing company and maybe you're at the huge convention. You heard someone talk about SEO and you're like, oh, I need that. Well, do you need that right now? Is that what's needed for your business? Do you need leads, or do you need an organic standing on Google? Because if you need your phone ringing, you actually need some form of a lead generation service, whether that be Google ads, whether that be Facebook ads. You need something to get that phone ringing. You actually don't need SEO at that exact time. You can build that into your marketing plan down the road and work that budget, that 10% budget, to make sure that it's meeting those qualifications.
Or my favorite, signs.
Signs, yeah. Yard signs, absolutely. I mean, there's so many different ways you can approach it. Like, you don't have to jump right into the paid advertising services. You can do yard signs, you can do emails, you can do text blasts, you can do voicemail bombs. I mean, if you have a client list, using text magic is one of the easiest ways that you, one, don't have to spend a lot of money, you're keeping good rapport with your clients, and you're getting new jobs scheduled on the books in a simple text that goes out in less than 15 minutes.
Well, and a lot of times people don't understand that they're not touching their former clients, and their best clients are your former clients. They've used you. You've been amazing, and we don't follow up with them. We don't email them. We don't text. We don't do nothing, and they wonder why we can't keep getting work. And a text, what is it like for text message? It's not even that expensive per text, is it?
It's not. I can't remember the exact percent. I want to say maybe it's around 5 cents a text. I think that might be a little high still, but the more you send, sometimes it's a little bit cheaper. But you're right, we don't touch our customers enough. I mean, think of the sales process. So when they're first looking for a company, it sometimes takes 7 touches from your company before they actually book that first job. So it took you 7 times to get that job, and then no one's doing anything post that to keep that job and keep that client. A lot of times that follow-up process with the marketing side of it is dropped. And I think that's the biggest opportunity in pressure washing and window cleaning and these service businesses is you can create that rapport with that client. And it's as easy as saying, Mrs. Jones, I would love to see you, next year. If that's something that works for your market and you can schedule them on an annual option, then you put it in your calendar for next year. It's August 21st, right? So August 21st, 2022, whatever day it is today. And you already have that on your calendar a month before. Now you call Mrs. Jones a month before, give her a personal message, even if it's a voicemail bomb, she's not going to know. And you say, hey, Mrs. Jones, or I'm coming out in a month, want to make sure that this date still works. Is there any other services you'd like to add on this year? Now you're taking that onto you as the business owner or your office admin and continuing that rapport and continuing that. And you can even put email follow-ups in between those two. But it's making sure that that client doesn't forget who you are, and having a form of recurring service like that is very valuable because now they know you took time out of your day to reach out to them, and that goes miles when you're working with clients.
Yeah, I actually met one guy. I don't remember his name now because I met a lot of people. They all came up to me, but he was telling me that he writes in his CRM the dog's name. the dog's birthday, and he
Absolutely.
will send them a doggy treat on the dog's birthday.
I
And
love it.
and he's like, you would not, and he's like, he will even write down like the dog's leg got hurt, and like when he talks to Miss Jones next year, oh, how did Susie's dog? He's like, it has been the best thing that has grown him through referrals and just that relationship building. And he, Kirk Kempton always says he's a customer service business, just happen to do cleaning. And he's like, I'm a relationship business, just happen to do cleaning. And it's true, it's things that you can do that can really help you be that person that people they will remember. They don't care about your cleaning, but hey, he remembered my doggy. And if anybody knows, their pets are more important than probably some of their kids.
Martha ran an employee campaign where they were taking selfies with the pets.
Right.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
And like she was giving rewards for employees for like engaging with the clients' animals. Wasn't that like
Great.
a whole thing?
Yeah, it was a contest.
A contest. That's what it was.
Contest, yeah.
And that's something to dealing with people and dealing with that kind of stuff. So let's move on to that topic. Let's talk about people, because you always hear that you can't grow a business now because you can't find people and you can't get the right people and they won't show up and all of that kind of stuff. So let's talk a little bit about people.
All right, let's do it.
So who are you, where you've come from, and let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, I mentioned earlier to you that I live in the Kansas, Oklahoma area, and it's because I actually live in Kansas, but I run a maid service that's in Oklahoma. So I'm 100 miles away from my service business. So I had to learn early on how to run my service business as an absentee owner. So I'm co-founder of a software called Quality Driven, and it's an employee performance software. And so I did develop it because I needed metrics to be able to look at from afar to know how things are going. And then I just help people build happier workplaces. That's just what I'm about. So when you were talking with Tay about that guy that does the relationship building with his clients, it made me remember some of the most powerful things that I've done with my employees is, and I will fully admit I used to be better at it than I am, but we had an intake form when they come in. They tell us all their favorites, but we have them tell us about their kids, and if they're willing to, their kids' birthdays. They don't have to say years or anything like that, but and then we would do things where we would send a birthday card to the child and put $5-10 in there depending on the age, and if they were older, then you might give them a gas card or something like that. But we did a lot of relationship building that way. And what I have found is, and it depends on your demographics of who you employ, but for maid service, we have a lot of single moms. And when we interview them and we ask them a question about what are you most proud of, almost 100% they say my kids. And so, what's more powerful with employee retention than focusing on what's most important to that employee? And another really powerful thing you can do is if you make that employee look like a hero to their kids. So, if on the employee's anniversary or their birthday or whatever, if you sent something to the house and like you wrote that employee a handwritten glowing card, and they're going to read it to their kids, they're going to put it up on the mantle. The kids are like, wow, mom's so special, Those are just so powerful. And yes, we have to recruit, but yes, we have to retain, and we have to build that culture that people want to work at, because it's really not the pay. The pay may attract them, but what makes them stay is the culture. And you could pay top dollar, but if it's a terrible place to work, you won't get the performance that you want. And sooner or later, they will get tired of it and the money's not enough.
I liked how, I don't know if you listened to Kurt's speech this week, and I know I love Kurt, but he was talking about company culture and how he was in front of Infusionsoft's owner, and he was like, "My company's not sexy," and he's like, "Well, it's your fault. It's not sexy. You're the one building it." And I think a lot of times us business owners, we treat our customers with golden gloves, but we kind of stick it in the butt of people's tails when we're trying to deal with our workers. And sometimes I think you do see the companies that take care of their employees, and those are the people that still want to, they've been very successful, whether they got employees been there 10 years and all those things. And a lot of that comes back to treating our employees kind of like how we're kind of treating our customers. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's probably some listeners out there that are thinking, yeah, but they do this to me, or yeah, but they, don't show up, or yeah, but, like, why would they deserve it? And I have to say, that's really on the business owner. So I used to be right there with you, I was resentful, and you really kind of are jaded and you don't want to do those things. But if you step back, the only person that's allowing that to happen is you. And so you really can't be mad at them, because you kind of wrote the blank check that said, it's okay, go ahead, call off again. I'm not going to do anything about it, even though it says you should have been fired a long time ago. So you do have to fix that part that's broken before you feel good about those retention things that I talked about.
And that's kind of the next thing of systems, because everything is a system, but even a system of hiring, a system of employees, and that all falls under systems of making sure that you have the right people, and even growth in the business, growth in your business, and how that system works. It's kind of like the book E-Myth. We're going to figure out our organizational chart, and we're going to put, obviously your name's going to be in a lot of those, but then our goal is to start erasing our names and putting put people in those positions that can be over operations, that can be over HR, that can be over all these different things besides your name in there. And so if you put systems into place, this is how you can grow a business and get it to the next level. This was the hardest thing for me growing my business, was this right here. It was the hardest thing was to try to get, getting employees. And now I sold the business in 2017, and there's still 2 or 3 employees that were there when I was there. And so the finding those systems, putting them into place, and that's the thing that can really help you get your business to the next level. A lot of people, and I know they're on here, they're at that level that they're getting ready to hire somebody. They're trying to find that their first employee or maybe their second employee. Can you give me a little bit of some things to talk about getting, or some successful things that we can do to help get that first employee?
Yeah. Are we systems with you?
Yeah, no, go ahead. You go.
Okay.
You keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah, well, I guess I would caution you to this, is that don't beat yourself up when you make a bad hire, because you are going to make a bad hire so many times. And there's your system that you have to have. So when you get ready to hire, your ad needs to represent what your core values in your company is about. but you have to always make your ad about what's in it for them. So it can't be about, here's what all that I want. You know, there's a time and place to ask for that, but you're going to write that ad in what they're looking for, what's in it for them. Then when you interview them, that's when you really want to be strategic about your core values and what questions you're going to ask them. Like for me, attendance is a big thing. And so I will say, we do check references, but we all know that so many times you can't get them, or, you know, it's hard to get good reference checks. So what I'll say is, when we check your references, what are your current or past, depending on their employment status, what are they going to say about your attendance? Now, I look for a pause and a kind of a looking away, thinking, oh, what am I going to answer? You know, and then that gives me a good indication that they had to think it up. If I ask that question and they're like, oh my gosh, I was always there, blah, 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 you know. So I ask about that. Another non-negotiable for me is attitude, a bad attitude. So I will ask some things about, tell me about a time in your past jobs that you just couldn't get along with your coworker. And why couldn't you get along? So I'm trying to look at, like, what pushes their buttons. And then when they get on, when they're hired on, and believe me, we go through all these stages, but we still hire the wrong people sometimes. When we're training, we purposely are testing for attitude. We actually have certain things in training that we are on purpose trying to push their buttons to see how they handle it, because they're going to get criticism and they're going to deal with people that aren't always nice. And then after the fact, when they pass, we let them know, okay, we have to tell you, you know, blah, 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 blah.
You didn't miss a spot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're letting them during training, but we do warn them of that. And we always tell them after the fact the reasoning behind it. And then really the reasoning behind it is that we're so protective of our culture that we want to make sure that you're a good fit for our current employees and that we're a good fit for you, you know. And then any reasonable person is going to be okay with that. And they're going to appreciate that you're vetting them.
Awesome. So we talked about things about systems and how we need to use systems. I talk about systems all the time too, of, you know, on the 26 steps of house wash, does different things. But tell me, what about other systems that we might need? So tell me, who are you, where are you from, what you do, all of those great things.
Absolutely. I'm Michelle. Hi. And I mentioned before we were on air that I do own a remote admin services company. So we do CSRs in your business and office managers. And so I work with systems, all different kinds of systems for all different kinds of businesses all day long. And it was interesting. We were on stage the other day with Brandon Vaughn from Conquer, and he was really systematic about telling us where he starts with systems in his businesses. And I loved it. He said he starts with production first, which is not where a lot of business owners want to start, right? They may want to start with people or marketing or money, right? They may not want to start with the production side. But he said, really, when you build systems around your production and get that really locked and loaded, then that's when you really get to see big increases in your business. So I loved how he started there. And he defined systems very clearly for our listeners. He said a system is a documented set of processes in your business. So documented and process. Those are the only two things you need to remember.
And how do we need to document these?
Well, he was really helpful. He said Loom videos are fantastic. grabbing your iPhone if you're out in the field. He actually even told folks that hiring somebody, maybe a student in your area, to follow you around while you're actually doing jobs and film you while you're performing the work is a really great way to get those processes all documented so that that production side is really ready.
Awesome. So what systems how can we make systems better? Because, like I always said, you have a system right now. It's probably not a very good system. So what are some things that we can do to make good systems?
Well, we can add accountability into our system so that our employees are really sending back the information either to the office or back to the owner about what's happening out there in the field. So accountability is a huge piece, whether that's a paper checklist, that can be a system that works really well, whether that's a workflow on a platform like Slack, whether that's a before and after picture. Anything that adds accountability into your process is really going to be beneficial in terms of systems because it keeps everybody knowing what's expected.
Now, if I'm the owner, do I have to follow these systems too?
It works better if you do. If you lead by example, we always find that it works better. But I find that in our business, I love to actually have self-reporting. So I ask our team members to report on the stats of what they've done, what they've accomplished for the day, and then give that back to me in electronic or digital format. So I can look over that data at my leisure. It doesn't mean that I have to wait until 5 p.m. and then look at all the stats. I can, go on about my business, make my dinner for my family, and then look at that information later on in the evening if that's helpful. So I like that way. I like the employees to be engaged in that accountability. I think that really helps.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So what other systems can we put in place to help grow our business?
Well, once we lock down the production, like I said, that one's really, really important. Then we really want to start with admin, because once you work on getting yourself out of the truck, the admin is the next highest pain point. So phones and email and chat and all of the ways that homeowners are communicating with your business really needs to have a human and CRM component. So we really think that those two things go together, whether that's an outsourced VA or an offshore person or someone in your community or someone in your physical office. You really do need a human component to help get all of those things dialed in. So your customer service needs to be really digitally handled with the CRM of your choice. And we can work on any of them. I mean, a lot of the ladies here, we all have different CRMs that we work on. And there's great ones out there. It's really up to you. But having some sort of database of your customers, very important. I can promise you that the guy that remembered the dog's birthday it's in a CRM somewhere, right? It's not on a notebook somewhere. It's in a computer.
Or Google Calendar.
It's somewhere.
Yeah, and so I do deal with that a lot when seeing people with the whole CRM, and they're like, well, which one do I pick, and all of that kind of stuff. And I mean, I've got some guys that are doing $100,000. They don't even have a CRM. They're still doing paper and pen and Google Calendar and stuff like that. So it is important that we do move that stuff so that way we can start putting systems into place and to make things get it to the next level.
Absolutely it is. And again, there's lots out there. We've tried probably every free trial of every CRM there is. So please try any of them. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on Facebook. We are the Fight Club on Facebook, Fight Club for Business. And any one of us would be happy to help you figure that out.
What is a CRM?
A CRM is a customer relationship management tool. That's what CRM stands for. And it's essentially just a database of all of your customers, your jobs, your invoices, your work orders, everything that you accomplish in your company.
I just wanted to hit on that because Marcus Sheraton, he just did a post on LinkedIn the other day talking about he does not use any acronyms. So that's why I wanted to hit what is a CRM.
Okay, good. Thank you. No, thank you for clarifying.
We're all big Marcus fans.
Yeah, we love him. Love him.
Great book. So great person to follow on LinkedIn too.
Yeah, he's great.
There's a Fight Club for Business episode with Marcus Sheridan.
Yeah, he
Is
came.
there?
Yeah, he came on with us. He was very generous.
Michelle likes to joke that she's the 14-day trial queen. Like
I am.
she will do the 14-trick trial for any
Everything.
type of software company out there, just
Yep.
to see if she thinks it could work for one of her clients. It's
Yep.
pretty cool.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome. So what is the Fight Club for Business?
Tay, tell them what it is.
I get to it. So we are a group of self-employed industry experts. And what we do is we have a podcast that speaks to home service business owners. And what that's there for them for is to find areas that need to be improved within their business. So kind of like we just talked about today, how we kind of went round robin. We take these 4 areas and then we sit down with a guest each week and we dive deep into those and how they navigated through marketing and finances, systems and culture, and really got to the point in their business where they did have it systematized. So, I should say not fully systematized, because some of the clients we have on fully aren't systematized. So it's fun to kind of see the different journeys that business owners have been on and where they're leading to, and whether they've sold it, whether they're still in it. But we're all in the same boat. We're all fighting for our business every day. And that's really where the show was kind of formed from.
Cool.
Yep.
And what else? You do have a podcast. I did put the link down to the website, which I did see it goes to the podcast. How often does the podcast come out?
Once a week.
We're live on Facebook on Tuesdays at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we drop the episodes to all the regular podcast channels the following Monday.
Good. All right. If anybody has any questions about any of the things that we talked about, the 4 things, you can put down here. We do have one here. What can QuickBooks be a CRM?
That's a really good question, and I wish the answer were different than the actual answer. In my window cleaning business, we probably spent our first 4 years trying to make QuickBooks a CRM. Like, there's a note section, there's an invoice section, there's a client list. Like, you could plug it into a calendar, but it is not a CRM. And it's not a CRM because it can't do scheduling, right? Yeah. And for us, we make how many dollars when we're in a truck? 0. Driving between jobs, we're making negative money actually going in between jobs. So you need a really good scheduling system that's integrated with your money. And I think this is not like a commercial for software, but my tech stack, from starting with the QuickBooks days and then trying out a bunch of CRMs, my tech stack for my window cleaning business is Responsibid. Everything starts in Responsibid. We push to Jobber. Then we actually don't connect Jobber and QuickBooks. I as a CPA and a bookkeeper, I highly recommend you do not connect your CRM to your QuickBooks Online. It makes your books cleaner and easier. And then we push from Jobber to quality-driven software, and from quality-driven software to Nice Job. And that is our completely automated software package for our window cleaning company. And it is way better than our old QuickBooks Online days.
Yeah.
And just for people to know that Responsibid isn't a CRM. I know you say you go from Responsibid to Jobber. So Jobber is the CRM.
I also wish Responsibid was a CRM, just like QuickBooks. Like that, my life would be so much better if Responsibid was a CRM, but it is not. It's actually a sales system. It's a system so that our CSR, who when she's answering the phone, she's got a phone script right there. She's upselling as she goes. Our average ticket's more than doubled. And it's really smart follow-up, and then it does the smart scheduling for us. So it's pushing those jobs. It's not even giving an option on the calendar if it's not efficient for my crews. I went from making negative money in the truck to actually running really efficient routes, and I do mostly residential. So yeah. I love those parts of Responsibid, but no, it's not a CRM. Jobber is our CRM, kind of a necessary component there. But I love how they all play nice with each other, and they talk seamlessly so that it's all automated.
Yeah. And so what is QuickBooks for then?
So QuickBooks is tracking how much money are you making, how much money are you spending, where are you spending it, how much is left over, how much cash is in your bank account, and how much money do you owe to other people. That's what QuickBooks job is. That's important information to know so that you know where you are on a given week or a given month. I say if you want to know how did the money come in, like did it come from Sally Joe, or did it come from pressure washing, or did it come from soft washing, or did it come from driveway cleaning? If you need to know the specifics of the origin of that deposit, go to your CRM. That's what it's for. That's where the invoice was. I'm going to say I can run good reports from Jobber, and you might have some listeners that are going to argue with me because Jobber's not really known for the reports, but I can get all the data out of Jobber that I need to. Who are my top paying customers and what are my top paying services? I prefer to keep that out of my QuickBooks Online system.
And somebody put, who is her CRM? It is Jobber. So if you want to try Jobber for 14 days, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/Jobber.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
I'll take you don't pay me anything, but I do get affiliates off of it. So
Yeah.
Awesome.
We like the combo of Marquette and QuickBooks of Self-Employed. What do you think about Marquette? Has anybody tried it or used it?
We have not.
We have not, but we
haven't.
We have heard good
We've
things
met
about
him. I've met the owner of Marquette. He's a nice guy. I've met him, so I just we haven't used the software yet.
Okay. All right. So what is some advice for someone trying to start and grow a pressure washing business?
Ooh, I think that question falls on me.
Yeah.
It might.
All right. So let me put myself in my husband's shoes 7 years ago. Advice I would say for starting a pressure washing company. I would definitely say you're obviously going to need to know the service you're providing, number one. Make sure we know how to pressure wash. Make sure you know how to go about what services you're wanting to offer. But next at that point, I would be really something I wish we did sooner, I guess would be a good way to answer this, is I wish we were a little bit more intentional about our brand, our core values, and who we want to serve. So we're very big on going the extra mile for our clients. And when we clean a patio, we make sure if there's a pool, we skim the pool. So we'll take the pool skimmer and go around and make sure we take that extra 5 to 10 minutes just to really go that extra mile for our clients. And that took us a little bit longer to navigate. But having the core values, your mission statement, definitely having a budget, definitely having a budget, 100%. Megan will kill me if I don't say that.
Yep.
Those are really key pieces. Like, yes, is the logo fun and sexy? Is the website fun, sexy? Absolutely. But budget, knowing what services you want to offer and knowing you can provide those efficiently for your clients, knowing what your core values are as a company and knowing what that mission statement is really going to help you shape who the company is. So it's not like Taylor's company. It's not Jason's company. It's the pressure washing of Florida, say, for example, like that. The company has a title and an entity, and it's its own person. It's not falling on you as a business owner anymore.
All right. So since I have a lot of females on here, I want to hit on this one a little bit. How do I get my wife on board to make her feel comfortable if I want to start a business or I want to get to the next level of going full time?
I would say include her.
Yeah.
I would say
100%.
include her. Like, have her be part of the discussion, really be open and transparent with her about what is causing you to want to do this. Like maybe show her some Keith Kalfas videos or show her some Jason Guyman videos. Like show her like why you're excited about it, and then maybe share with her some of the potential that you're looking for, and really include her in that discussion of the why. I feel like when we start businesses, there's always a big why, and I think it's important that's included as a couple discussion because you're both going to be investing a bunch of time and a bunch of pain in starting a business and money.
And I will say
True.
I'm the only one of the four that my husband is not involved in my service business. And so when I quit my corporate job and said, I want to start a maid service, and in his occupation, he's a pharmacist. It's not anything to do with, but for him, what he's really liked is that there's a part of him that would love to start a business, but that's not really in his DNA. And so as long as I've included him in the journey, and he's got the lucky part. I do not tell him, I don't tell him when I have a workers' comp. He stresses more than I do. So I shelter him. But no, I think the success for us is that I've made sure he can go on the journey with me. And he takes some losses, but more of the highs. And as long as he feels like he's part of the journey, I think that's the important part.
Yeah, and I'm going to hit on this because you say listen to me, and most of my followers, and I met their wife, they're like, I'm tired and sick of hearing your voice, and that's what I wanted to hit on, and so one other thing that I'd like to hit on that too, and even maybe ask you is security. Females want security; they want that security at the end of the day, and so how I gave my wife the security is we got debt free. We got 6 months in the bank of finances. And then my wife had security of, hey, if something happens, 6 months down the road, we're still good. So
that's smart.
I like the idea of a disaster plan. I love that. Like, I'm kind of a doomsdayist. So this idea that like you're going to present to them like worst case scenario, this all like blows up in a ball of fury and it doesn't actually work. Like, how is the family going to be okay? Like, is there still going to be food on the table? Are we going to be homeless? Right. And I think also a plan, like having an actual documented plan of how you intend to ramp up. It will be good to include your spouse in that, but it's also good for you to get clarity. Like, we're a little naive when we start a business. Like, I'm going to start making money on day one. Like, I'm going to start making money in month one. You need to be realistic. Like, what are the costs that are going to go into it? How long is it going to take for me to be able to pay myself? How much am I going to be able to afford to pay myself? We were just at the huge convention with Ellen Moore, and she has the Weekend Business Plan, or Business Plan Simple. It's a purple book. We all have a copy, but not handy.
No,
that would be a really great exercise where you actually map out the money and you have something to present with your spouse. But I wouldn't just present it to them. I would include them and be like, this is what I'm working through. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what's going on. And Jason, I think you're brilliant. Like, also, there's 6 months money, 6 months cash in the bank. So that's my runway, right? And then you both know if it doesn't work in 6 months, well, you might have to pull the plug, and that's a mutual decision, and there's not going to be any blame or guilt or shame around that, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
And we all know that you can do this. You can absolutely run a profitable business, a pressure washing business in 6 months, and you can do it. And you have really good leaders and mentors here that are helping you. So I think it's awesome what you're doing, Jason, for your listeners. And if you're listening to this, like, the Fight Club believes in you, Jason believes in you.
Yeah,
but you gotta
totally do it.
You can do it.
And talking about that confidence, a lot of people don't have that confidence. What's some words of advice for confidence?
Fake it till you make it.
No. Actually, who speaks on this topic exactly is Josh and Ashley Latimer. They have a lot of fun podcast episodes on his podcast, the Quick Talk podcast. So I would go back and search for any time she's been on. They're hysterical, and they talk very candidly about being husband and wife. And she speaks very candidly about being a spouse of an entrepreneur. So I would encourage your listeners to go check them out too. They've got some fun content.
Awesome.
And I think it's good to document your growth. Like, it doesn't really matter what stage of the game you are. We tend to be very hard on ourselves and think that we're not doing well enough. You always are comparing to somebody else. And so I wish I was a person who journaled, but I don't. But maybe biannually or something, to just write a synopsis of where you're at, with health, business, etc., and like where you're at, and then in the next 6 months. And what you'll find is, like, when you look back, somebody said 5 years ago, could you ever have dreamt you'd be doing what you're doing today? And I thought about that, and I thought, no way would I have thought 5 years ago, including this right here, that we'd be doing that. And so that's so powerful. But you know what? If I were to think about myself today, I'd think, oh, you're not doing enough. You're not everything is, you're hard on yourself at the time. So journal and give yourself credit where credit is due.
That's a good point, because a lot of times people don't have the confidence to think that they can do it. And when you start learning things, I always say you never know what you might learn, that you might do something later. You might learn that you do marketing, and now you just go do a bunch of marketing for other people because you're good at it. Or if you told me 5 years ago I'd be sitting here having 30,000 subscribers and talking on it, I'd have said, what kind of crack are you smoking? And so that's just kind of the things that I've been able to do, and I've grown, and that's what happens when things do that.
I feel like just one fine parting point about the confidence is you can always borrow confidence. Like the people you surround yourself with, they can be your biggest cheerleaders. And I think we just all came off this really awesome week at the Huge where we were with like-minded people, and they can cheer you on. They can give you a pat on the back. They can look at you and be like, you're so much further along than I am. And that confidence, you can use that. That is true confidence.
That's great.
Those little esteem boosts, like it was a huge confidence boost for Fight Club being at the Huge. Everybody loved the buckets. We didn't know if anybody was going to love the buckets.
The buckets were a hit.
Yeah. So I feel like if you're lacking confidence, like find a cheerleader. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's somebody you haven't met yet, but who's going to be in your industry. Maybe it's Jason. Like find a cheerleader because you can borrow confidence, and sometimes you just need somebody to believe in you.
I actually want to hit on that because Big Rob was there, and he's not actually big. He's actually an older gentleman, shorter. And he come up to me. He's like, "You're my hero." And I'm like, "That's kind of a long way shot there, buddy." But he was telling me, he's like, "You're my hero." He's like, "I was in the gambling industry for 30 years. I lost my job due to COVID. It was the most stressful thing ever. And you're my hero." And, after I thought about that, and I meant to say this in my class I did, is I don't want to be your hero. I want to be your biggest cheerleader, because I want you to do things that I want you to do better than me. I want you to go way beyond what I did. Whether it's whatever I do, I want you to go way past me. That's why I want to be your biggest cheerleader, and that's what you can do this stuff, and you will do it if you take action, and not just take a little action. We got to take massive action. And when we take massive action, no matter what it's in, things will happen. And so that's what I told him the other day. And so that's what, taking action is what we're going to do. He did have a question: CPA, attorney, and
We don't have an attorney.
No attorney. No attorneys.
No attorneys. And before we answer that question, we love to say massive imperfect action.
Yep, imperfect.
We do not get stuck, even though today we maybe got stuck for a minute in perfection. We try not to get stuck in being perfect. So massive imperfect action. So CPA, HR consultant,
physical therapist.
No, she does HR, people, culture.
Yep.
Marketing expert.
And systems
ninja.
And all business owners. Yep. So
awesome. Jason is my motivational speaker. So
good. That's sweet.
Awesome. So before we jump off here, you want to just tell us one more time about the Fight Club, and then we'll give it a night.
Yeah, well, you can catch us every Tuesday, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, like Megan said, and we have different business industry leaders and influencers on as guests every single week. We ask business owners, we ask influencers like you. We're going to get you on our podcast for sure. And we just go round robin style, solving the business problems of the day. And it's a really fun time. It's a very dynamic talk, and we get lots of interaction just like you do. So we take questions from the audience. And like I said, it's Facebook Live every Tuesday, and that's on our Facebook Live page. And that's Fight Club 4, the number 4, business, like 4 of us.
Awesome. Go ahead.
And I was going to say too, to touch on what makes us kind of a little bit different, is we do assign accountabilities. So we want you guys to move the needle forward in your business. And these can be done with small tasks each week. You don't have to go after some big, massive task that's going to take, weeks upon months to complete, like a training program. Mm-hmm. It can just be shooting one video that week for that training program and that system that can actually change your business and move the needle forward. So we do assign homework. We have an accountability group for that as well that you can join. And all of that's on our website that Jason already dropped in the comments. So you can find everything there.
Awesome. So go check out the comments there. Also, if you want to join my membership, check it out. You can go check out pressurewashhelp.com/free. You get 30 days free. Tomorrow is marketing. It'll be the last day on LinkedIn. So make sure you check it out. Also, I will be having a Christmas light and a pressure washing class in October and September and October. You can go check it out. It's a 3-day course and it'll teach you everything you need to know. See y'all. And if you hang on here, once we'll
Thanks.